Hi, I'm Sandy Ames, hypnotherapist. Today, at the end of this episode, you're actually going to get a chance to close your eyes and follow along with a live hypnosis with our special guest. Welcome. You are the very first guest on this podcast.
It's amazing. I love it. That makes me happy.
It makes me happy. And if you're not familiar with Glenn Rottmann, what's wrong with you? Glenn is the most watched hypnotherapist on the planet, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun thing to say.
I'd ask you how many views you have on Instagram, but they're going up as we speak.
Yes, that. And some of the YouTube videos are pushing over the 20 million.
First, let's just get a little bit about you, because this story is a favorite of mine.
Okay.
You became ultra worldwide famous while you were still in school for hypnotherapy.
I was going to our hypnotherapy college, and I had an opportunity to work with a YouTube star. I didn't really know who she was. I didn't know a lot about her at the time. She turned out to be Miranda Sings, which is a character name. Her real name is Colleen Ballinger. She had a Netflix special, Haters Back Off. She's been on all the major talk shows. She's been on Jerry Seinfeld's Comedian Cars and Coffee. So I didn't really know who she was at the time, and I'm glad I didn't. So I just went to her house to hypnotize her for her YouTube channel. She had some of her friends there. This is the first time I had ever done something like this. I wasn't inside. I was terrified. You would never know by watching, because I'm really good at hiding that.
And you were a student at the time.
I was a student at the time. I'm like, might as well dive in, right? Go big or go home. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the story of my life. I always dive in. So I hypnotized her. She was super responsive, which was great, because not everybody responds to stage hypnosis the same way.
Right.
Everybody responds to hypnotherapy, but not necessarily the entertainment side of stage hypnosis. Well, she was such a fun, loving, open person. We had so much fun. I gave her, in the middle of our time together, an onion, a raw onion.
The onion made you famous.
Onion, the bite that was heard around the world is what it was. So she took a bite of this onion. She thought it was a delicious, sweet apple. It was hysterical. She's chewing on it. She's saying it's sweet. Next thing you know, that video went to 8 million views. And then from there, I get a call from the William Morris agency to do some of their YouTube stars. That video went to 20 million views. Then Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning called. After that, Josh Peck from Drake and Josh called me. That was amazing. But so many people just started reaching out, and it brought entertainment and fun all over the world. And I got to use that to introduce people to what's really important, is the work that we do, our hypnotherapy.
You keep saying we, and I appreciate that. You and I went to the same school. We have the same mentor.
Yes.
And we do Instagram Live seemingly every week now.
Yeah.
It just keeps happening.
We have amazing lives. We get to do a lot of really beautiful things. And so inspiring others to get more involved in their life, to get off the sidelines and stop watching life pass them by.
So, Glenn, you are the most watched hypnotherapist in the world.
Yes.
You have a series called Hypno Vault that people can purchase.
It's an app. It's online. You log in, and I'm there with you. No matter what you're struggling with, whatever you're facing, you can put on one of my hypnosis sessions, change your state, overcome something. And it's at a fraction of the price of working with me one-on-one. So that's how I share.
Look at the sales pitch. Look at that sales pitch right there.
It's
with
true,
that trustworthy face and voice. So you got the Hypno Vault. You are now endeavoring upon a hypnosis itself training course. That's brand new. It's just edging its way through.
Training's coming up.
No more coming.
And then worldwide seminars are coming up next.
Now, Glenn, since we have you here, I want you to answer some of the most common questions about both hypnotherapy and street hypnosis. We'll go over some tips and tricks. Yes. And then before we leave today, surprise, you, the person who's hypnotized more people, or it's been seen more times around the world, I'm going to hypnotize you, Glenn.
Okay.
And
fan of hypnosis, obviously.
The technique we're going to use is one that I have been wanting to teach people as well. So it's going to be a double A double win.
Awesome.
You get hypnotized. The world gets to see it for the first time. And in doing so, people are going to learn something that they can use for themselves. Good?
Amazing. I'm always happy to be a teacher and a student at the same time.
Last thing I want to brag about you, all of the success in your life. Now, you've had many successes before now, but this big stuff that's made you famous happened well after 40, and that's a compliment.
Yes. Thank you. It's the one thing I really want to share with the world. It's you're never too old. It's never too late to get involved in something you're passionate about in your life. After the age of 40, I got my pilot's license. After the age of 40, I did some acting on TV shows. I decided to take an acting class and I got booked on some things. After the age of 40 is when I got certified. So life doesn't have to stop for anyone, and it is never slowing down. So,
I'm going to throw some questions at you. People often ask, what if I can't be hypnotized? What do you say?
when I get that question, which we get every single day, I get it every day of my life. What if I can't be hypnotized? I simply explain what hypnosis is, and then they get it.
What is it?
As we know, it's an ability we all have. We all go into hypnosis. It's a focused state of awareness where we can use our imagination, that link between our mind and our body. It all happens in our imagination. We tap into it and we're able to create amazing changes in just moments. So what I tell them is this: when it comes to hypnosis, when I say the word sleep, sleep doesn't mean you're going to sleep. It means a relaxed state of body so we can focus on your mind in different ways. It's so important to explain that. One of the things you'll hear me say over and over again when I do street hypnosis is when I say the word sleep, it's not sleep. You're not going to fall asleep. You're not going to go to sleep. What will happen is your eyes will close, your head will drop. You will go into a deep state of relaxation and imagination. Once they understand that, they know it's a normal, familiar feeling we all have. And so understanding what hypnosis is the key to helping people break through that mindset barrier. Like, that won't work on me. Hypnotherapy works on everybody.
So what is this state of hypnosis, right? It's you're driving from A to B and then you don't remember driving there, right? You just sort of got there. You're in a state of hypnosis when you're driving. If somebody says, all right, there's a chair and you sit in the chair and you're looking at a blank white wall. How long do you want to sit there? People say not long, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if your favorite movie were playing on that wall, you could sit in that chair for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right. So because when you're watching the movie, you're in a state of hypnosis. Now, if there were no movie playing on the wall, you'd be fidgeting, you'd be moving your legs.
Yes.
During the 2-hour movie, you don't feel your legs. But if anybody said, hey, do you feel your legs? You'd be like, oh, yeah. So you're not gone.
Yep.
You didn't lose your legs. Your awareness is so focused in one specific direction that
Yes.
if that movie were a scary movie, for example, you know how your heart beats faster? All scientists would agree that you have just gone into a state of fight or flight while watching the movie. But yet, why then, Glenn, don't you run out of the movie theater?
Yeah. Well, you're hypnotized.
That's right. That's right. You're hypnotized.
But it's that state where hours feel like minutes, minutes feel like seconds. You lose a sense of time. You know how many times you'll wake somebody up and I'll say, do you know how long that session was? They'll be like 10 minutes. I'm like, no, that was 40 minutes. They're like, that's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yes, look at the time. It is possible because you got into your imagination, which means you got away from linear time.
Right. And focus, which is the imagination you're trying. Focus is our tool of creation. That's how we make change. So you take the person who's watching the movie, they're in fight or flight because their heart is beating faster.
Yeah.
They don't run out of the theater because that other part of them knows they're safe. That's what we use to our advantage with hypnosis. So take, for example, weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie, your heart is literally beating faster. That's a physiological change. That's a body change.
Mm-hmm.
That helps people understand how we lose weight with hypnosis, not necessarily changing too much in the diet, because the body makes change based on this new focus. The body makes change. And it's massive that when we reconnect the wiring in the brain,
Mm-hmm.
the new association creates new and different behaviors, responses, reactions. And so that's what you're describing. It's brilliant. So the next question is, if I were listening in and I didn't know anything about hypnosis, you say they fall into this deep sleep, but they're not sleeping, but it's the hypnotic state. They're aware, but and they don't know it was 40 minutes. They thought it was 10. If I were listening in for the first time, I might ask, oh my God, so do I lose complete control when I'm in hypnosis? What do you tell people?
No, you get more control. You're focused. You're connected to your emotions, you're connected to your thoughts. We use a series of images and suggestions to guide you through imagery, and you just go into this place of creativity that feels so magical that you're not worried about time. Like a massage, you go for a 90-minute massage, you're like, I don't want this to end. How was that 90 minutes already?
So you keep using words like images and imagination.
Yes.
Why?
Because our imagination is the key to our life. As kids, we are taught to stop using our imagination. The imagination of a child can create anything without limits, without boundaries, until they were taught you're supposed to have limits and boundaries by people that gave up on their dreams. So imagination is so important. Am I right or am I right?
You're so right. And earlier when we spoke, it's not recorded, but we were talking about, you mentioned visions and visionaries. And I love what you said.
Yes.
What did you say?
I said, anybody that's truly successful. What do we call the most successful world leaders? The most successful business people, we call them visionaries, because they have the ability to see something before it's there, to use their imagination to vision what they wanted to create in this life. And that we all have that capacity. We can envision a healthy relationship. We can envision a family, a career, a job, a vacation, a meal, anything. It starts in our imagination. We vision it, then we create it. And somehow along the way, when we get taught limiting beliefs, those limiting beliefs change our vision. They change our imagination and allow it to play much smaller than it should be. And so the gift we have is getting back in touch with that imagination so people can create better lives for themselves.
I love listening to your voice, Glenn. I feel so sinking into my chair right now as you speak, because you know what you do? Do you know how to do a card trick, like a magician's card trick?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know any card tricks. Don't tell me la, la, la. I'm not listening.
Yes.
I don't know card tricks. I never studied them. So if a kindergartner does a card trick, it gets me every time. And I think it's wonderful. Right. But what they call those card tricks is sleight of hand. What you and I do for a living really is the same thing. It's sleight of mouth. And so as we're talking, we're slipping in, we're embedding these hypnotic commands, essentially tapping into people's emotions without them even know they're doing it. So a trick that I use, people say to me, how are you so confident? How are you so sure that no matter what, you can hypnotize any single person who walks through your door? And I say, it's very simple. I know I have 100% success because I don't hypnotize someone until they're already hypnotized. I'm doing sleight of mouth from the moment they walk in. And that's what you're doing to people from the second you meet them on the street when you do that street hypnosis. You're slipping it in. They don't know how. And these are the techniques. And over time, we're going to learn them on this podcast. Today, we're going to learn a few.
Yes, everything is a suggestion to build rapport and to build a pathway to that place of imagination. So when I ask somebody, after you do the introduction, say, hey, would you like to try hypnosis, see how your mind works? And I say, okay, step over here. First suggestion, step over here, put your feet here, put your feet here. Look this way. We start leading and pacing. Leading and pacing is really the best term for it. You know, you're leading them through your words at a certain pace to create a certain state. So one of the most common examples of leading and pacing, if we're doing hypnotherapy, would be, okay, let's sit in a chair. Let's close our eyes. And you may notice when your eyes are closed, your breathing becomes slower and deeper. And so it was sit in a chair, close your eyes. You may notice your breathing is, I don't just say, breathe slow and breathe deep.
Right.
Now we guide them into a place so it feels very natural. It's just a pathway. We utilize a little bit of a anxious state, a fight or flight state, so we can enter to that place of hypnosis. One of the easiest ways to hypnotize someone is I'll have them stand in front of me, shoulders straight, 2 commands already. Put your feet together, point them directly at me. And I'll look at me and I'll say, don't help me, don't hinder me. Just let the experience be what it is. And I'll say, falling forward, falling forward. And in a moment, they will start falling forward. And the second, before they catch themselves mentally, I'll see them falling forward. I'll reach out, I'll pull them, I'll say, sleep. And I'll drop them right into that hypnotic state because their mind feels them falling forward, which creates a state of anxiousness. It creates a fight or flight feeling. Now, the timing has to be exact because if you don't catch them right at that time, they'll pull themselves out of that state. But as they're falling forward, falling forward, falling forward, falling forward, falling forward, you see them moving now, sleep down, close your eyes, let's go deeper, deeper down. That's an instant induction that works on so many people.
Explain, please, further, Glenn, how this instant sort of induction into hypnosis is done with fight or flight and not relaxation, which most people think hypnosis is relaxation. Ultimately, we do get to the but what are you talking about? How do we make change in fight or flight?
Yes. Well, fight or flight is the quickest way to enter into your imagination. It bypasses that critical filter and allows you to go directly to that space where change is created.
When you look at the critical factor of the mind, that's the part that can boot you out, that says, well, no, I'm not really falling. And no, I'm not really, no. Right. So the part that could fight you, the part that could resist you, we don't have access to that when we go into fight or flight, because the thinking part of your brain processes 40 bits of information per second. The fight or flight, run away from a tiger part of your brain processes 40 million bits of information per second. It blocks you from thinking, so it's an instant reaction. Here's a simple example of what you're talking about. Let's say we hear a gunshot. The brain doesn't go, gosh, I think that was a sound. What was that sound? You know what? That was a sound of a gun. What should I do? Son of a gun, I'll jump. No, it's too late. So instead, it's like, I'll jump. It happens. So that's the reactive part of the mind, the part that instantly acts in situations. We want to make it so I don't instantly go for a cookie anymore, that I instantly crave salad if that's my choice, right? And so the instant reaction, the instant new craving is salad, because when we get somebody through a state of fight or flight, it bypasses the part that can think, that can push us away, and it instantly goes to reactive mode, and we create what that new action is.
It's simply just a confusion command that confuses people just enough to enter into that state of imagination.
Confusion is where we slip that card in.
Yes.
In that quick moment. Yes. You're a street and stage hypnotist, besides working therapeutically with people in your office. How do you know who to choose and who to not choose?
I'll do suggestibility tests with the audience, with everybody. And that's really how we kind of warm people up. I do some silly jokes, and then we'll do this thing called heavy light. And it's pretty much on all of my YouTube videos. It's on a lot of my street hypnosis, where it's that same thing. I'll ask everybody to put their hands out, palms facing the ceiling. Then I'll have them close their eyes and go into their imagination and imagine one hand is holding a heavy bowling ball, and another hand is feeling a string of balloons lifting and rising. And I give them the suggestion, the feeling of heavy and light. And if I see them start to drift, and if I can see their eyes at that moment, many people go into rapid eye movement. And that way I know they're accessing their imagination. If they just do this, I know they just did it on their own.
So what you did was just quickly separate your arms, one up, one down. It's like
They're
they're performing for you. Right.
Yes.
So you could tell when somebody's faking it.
An ideomotor response is when it's happening on its own. So when you see they're really feeling it, and you see a gentle lifting, and they'll move a little bit, you'll see their eyes move rapidly. At that point, I could start walking around the club and just saying, sleep, and pulling people right into a sleep. And I do that sometimes, right in that very moment. Other times I want to give everybody the experience, so I don't start that right away. And out of that, I start seeing who my responders are. Also seeing who is self-conscious, because people will go, is this working for you? I'm like,
Yeah, you're out.
not picking, you know what I mean? They're not going to let themselves go, which is common and normal in many, many places.
So you're watching for, are they performing for you, or are they really following, which is pretty easy to tell. Most people in the audience can tell. And you're looking at physiological changes. You're watching the rapid eye movement. You're watching for breathing changing, because we go into a state of fight or flight, eventually relaxation. Right? Eyes, if their eyes are open, they get glassy and blinky. So we look for that, right?
Yes.
A lot of times people have a tendency to swallow.
Yeah, that you don't necessarily see at the stage level.
Okay.
But yeah, that's more of the one-on-one that you would notice. But you can give them that suggestion. As your hands lift and rise, you may feel an urge to swallow, and then you'll see.
Ladies and gentlemen, Glenn Rottmann is about to get hypnotized by the oldest trick in the book. Ready? Go ahead and close your eyes, Glenn. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to do it. If you wanted, you could let your mind search for every one of those little embedded words. That's a suggestion that's going to take you deeper down into that state of comfort and ease, clarity, joy, where all the changes take place. You can search for those words if you wanted to, because you know them. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you in your mind only to open your eyes, because actually your eyes are going to stay closed and your arms are going to stay down the whole time. But in your mind, your eyes will be wide open. And then for the first handshake, in your mind, your right hand will come up and my right hand will come up, and we'll slide our hands together. And we'll both breathe in as that handshake goes to the top. And we exhale as our hands both come down past the chest, past the solar plexus, down, past the hips, and eventually your fingertips slide past mine. And then that little break between our hands, and your right hand will drop and dangle, and mine will as well. That's after the first handshake. And you'll notice that your eyes, and your mind, of course, will feel very heavy, but you won't let them close. So that'll be the first handshake in just a moment. Not yet. Have you noticed the embedded commands yet? And suggestions, don't answer. On the second handshake, your fingers will slide across mine. I don't know if you have lotion on your hands, but I've got some coconut oil on mine. So if our hands were more dry, it might make a louder sound as they slide across, but maybe with the coconut oil, it's more of a quieter, smooth sound. Now our hands are relaxed, of course, so they've got a natural curve, right? Because a tense person would have straighter, stiffer fingers. Nice, warm, curved, relaxed hand. Fingers slide together, hooking at the thumbs. Little air between the palms, and so poof, squeeze, and a little puff of air comes out. We both breathe in as the hands go up for the top of the second handshake. Down as we exhale for the bottom of the handshake. Hands slide apart, fingers come apart. Your right hand drops down. My right hand drops down. The eyes now become so heavy that you just go ahead and let them close. Then we'll do the third handshake. Hands slide together, a little puff of air, nice suction. Inhale, hands come up. Exhale, hands go down, arm drops. Now the eyes have become so heavy that that sensation of release, like a warm, melted, golden light, smoothing from the eyes down over the cheeks, down through the shoulders, down into the arms, pooling in the elbows so much the elbows feel stuck. You couldn't lift them if you wanted to. Draining through the forearms, dripping off the hands, and spilling out the release point at the tailbone, down the legs and out the toes. So that's what it's going to feel like. Now we'll do it for real, but your eyes remain closed and your arms remain down. In your mind, your eyes are open. Hands slide together for the first handshake. Breathe in as they go up. Breathe out as they go down. They drop. The air goes out. Eyes feel so heavy now, but you don't let them close. Second handshake, hands come together. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, arms go down. Fingertips slide across each other, drop. Now the eyes are so heavy, you let them close. This third one is interesting. Now you've got a string between your thumb and your first finger, and that string is connected to a wall in your mind. But now it's like a dam, and behind that wall, lots of rushing water splashing along the wall and the bones of the inside of your skull. Lots of water splashing, waves crashing. It's a dam. And so that string is nice and loose. But after this third handshake, that string's going to drop, and it's going to drop the wall, and it's going to be a little bit abrupt, but it's a quick second. And those waters flush all those old limiting beliefs down from your mind and flush through and clear your whole body instantly. Here we go. You've got the string in your thumb and first finger. So you've got 3 fingers available, and we make a fun little connection with the hands, and we both breathe up as we go to the top of the third handshake. And as we breathe out, the hands come down. When I snap my fingers, the string is going to just be taut enough to drop that wall. It's going to go deeper now with each number down on this journey of change. The hand going down past the solar plexus and the hips, slowly dropping by your side. Deeper now at 3. When I snap my fingers, that wall is going to drop. It's going to be abrupt. The water's going to flush through and clear it all out with that thunderous sound. Flushing through your body. String straighten now. 3 down at 2. And 1. When I say 0 and snap my fingers, that string's going to be so taut. It's going to drop that wall. 3, 2, 1. 0, deep sleep, and it flushes through. Raining down. Washing. When I snap my fingers again, you will feel that feeling of bliss flush through your body, bursting through. 3, 2, 1, 0, bliss. Basking. Old limiting beliefs cleansing, draining down. No need to know what they were, how they got there, how long they were there. It just gets washed out. Draining down. That buzzy, tingly sensation. Coming back into your body after one more burst of bliss. 3, 2, 1, 0, bliss. Breathing at 1, 2, 3. Big breath, filling your body with air like it's your only job. Smiling on 4 and 5. Eyes open, wide awake.
I don't want to stay here a little bit longer. It's nice just hearing your voice guide. I haven't had you guide me through any meditations yet, so it's very nice hearing your voice.
First time.
Yes. Very nice. It's very comforting hearing your voice.
Oh, that's how I feel about you. That was so much fun. And now the world gets to see Glenn get hypnotized.
Yeah. Just hearing you talk is very, very just easy and natural. Lets me relax.
I love you too.
Very nice.
Glenn Rottmann, thank you so much for being on this podcast. And I'll see you on Instagram Live tomorrow.
Yes.
We'll do it again. We'll do it again.
I can see myself using that. Definitely. I like the when your eyes are closed, but in your mind, your eyes are open. That's a very cool thing. So I'm going to use that today, actually, where I'm going next to the rehab.
Good.
house.
Record it and then post it. I'll see you later.
All right. I'll see you soon.